First cast, about 5 minutes in. What I forgot to tell you when I was showing you the setup is I've got a 150 gram rolling ledger on there, rolling lead weights, and what I'm doing is I'm casting it at an angle of about 2 o'clock, and because it's only a little neap tide, I can let it run round to about 10 o'clock. As you can see by the rod tip, it is moving slightly. That's not a bite, that's just where the lead's rolling, and that's quite a good idea when things are a bit quiet because you cover a bit of ground. The fixed grapple leads, obviously, if you've got a lot of anglers around you, but as I'm going to be fishing into darkness, the guys who caught a few mackerel earlier have already gone. Most of these people on the beach will have gone by just after 6 o'clock when it gets dark, so I can afford to let my lead run right round. I've done it in the past and sometimes it's proved to be quite effective. Also, the other thing you can do with a plain lead is after 5 minutes or so, if you haven't had any bites, just reel 2 or 3 times on the reel just to move the lead, and it just upsets the bottom a little bit. If there's a flatfish in the area, sometimes it gets you a bite. Not always, but sometimes. All these little tricks sometimes work, especially when you're into a quiet session, you know, quiet time of the year, and this is quiet, October, because it's a crossover. You've still got some of the summer species here, like the mackerel, scad, garfish, and be very careful before you check your fish with a light before you grab them, because this time of year weavers are about their most prevalent. So rather than grab a handful of pain, if you bring it in the dark, put your headlamp or torch on and make absolutely sure it isn't a weaver. If you don't know quite what a weaver looks like, look it up in a book. It's a small fish and it's a bit like a freshwater perch. Doesn't grow much longer than about that, the lesser weaver. It's got a little 3-spined dorsal fin and a big black mark on it, and they are absolutely painful. I've been caught myself several times, and trust me, they proper hurt. So be very careful if you get one of those. Even with a cloth, they can go through the cloth. So the way I dispatch them normally is put it onto the floor and just basically get the hook out, because they're nasty. They are very nasty. Some people, you know, that can sort of be a trip to A&E. Well, you don't want any of that. So always just be wary this time of year. I haven't had any this year yet, so perhaps they're not quite so thick on the ground, but they are about, so be careful. I'll leave this one out here 15 minutes and then we'll have it in and see if I've got any bait left or whether the crabs are active tonight. As soon as that sun goes completely and it goes dark, the rod will start rattling, I would assume. Even if it's only with little whiting, you will see a little bit of action. I've got the headlamp with me, so hopefully I'll be able to illuminate it enough for you to see. But I thought I'd just add about the rolling lead, because as I say, I've gone from 2 o'clock and it's now at about 11 o'clock. So it's still just rolling round on this little neap tide, 5 metres 7 I think tonight. When you think last weekend when they had that 2-day competition, they were 6 metres 7 and were pulling like a train, so we shall see.